All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to our second matchup of the night. We got the brooms out a little bit in the first matchup. Hopefully, we'll have a little bit of a different story here in match number two as we're here for our second divisional matchup of the night. I'm Rockerman back in the booth with the one and only Ventus. Ventus, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. I just finished watching a crazy, well, I guess not crazy upset, the Vipers beating the Warhawks. I kind of expected the Warhawks to put up a lot better of a fight, but crazy game that Vipers, looked that dominant. So kind of cool, and hopefully this is going to be another series, but a better one with more content
Yeah.
as both Distortion and Knights, kind of different stories. I mean, Distortion finally getting back Demas. They traded for him, I believe, at the end of last week, and now it is Demas, Sprinkle, and Flame, the same roster that was so dominant last season in Rival League. I believe they went 14 or 15-3. 14-4,
Yeah,
something like that.
14 and
Crazy,
4.
crazy record. They're the one seed in the rival league, and so bringing back those three onto the same team is going to be really good. And then watching the Knights, seeing Foam trading for I believe Siphrry and Light is very interesting. It was a weird decision after I watched the Gravelords, who looked pretty good, with Luma and Siphrry and Light playing together. So it was kind of surprising to see that the trade happened where two of them left and then joined Foam's team. But it's going to be really interesting to see how those two or how those three actually play together as well. So should be a really good match.
Well, Ventus, I have bad news for you. It doesn't look like we're going to be seeing either of those two on the pitch because looking at the lineups here, it looks like Foam, Riptide, and Stites stubbing up from Challenger. So,
Oh no.
unfortunately, we're gonna have to walk. We have to walk back that point. But hey, you never know what could happen. I mean, Stites is a great player last season. Riptide, a very solid rival league player as well. So, I mean, I guess we're gonna have to see Ventus. I guess we're gonna have to see what those what these three can conjure up.
Yeah, I guess so. I did see Stites was traded today to Samurai, so maybe Foam kind of knew that he was gonna need somebody to sub in, and he thought Stites was gonna be a great option in the Challenger League. So maybe could show up some new skills that we weren't expecting.
Yeah, I'm gonna correct you a little bit there. I think that was actually Stacked that was traded, not Stites. Stites was the one that actually
Oh my gosh.
re-signed. No, don't worry. I've confused those two more times than I can count. So I completely get it. I'm always confusing those two, but they are different people. And we're gonna start out with a distortion goal. Demas gonna strike first.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not too surprised by Distortion striking first, as the Knights is kind of a configured last minute team at the moment. A great pass off the corner and just a good finish by Demas. And we're probably going to be talking about Demas a lot tonight, just because he's going to be this bread and butter, this glue that kind of puts Distortion together, as a pass from Demas to Flame to score and put the score up 2-0.
Yeah, nice little pass across and Flame. It just going for the bang there, and Stites not quite ready to get up for that one. Challenger League sub trying to fit in here into this rival league. And, like we mentioned, Ventus, Distortion, they haven't had the best start this season. Already 4 losses this season, which we mentioned was tied with the amount of losses they had all of last season. So a big turning point for them here, trying to get a big divisional win, trying to turn things around.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're Distortion, you're seeing this Knight squad being, such a mismatched bunch of different people. You're going into this thinking, this is a great place to turn this season around, because, odds are you just added Demas, spirits are high. You're talking about going back to how you were at last season when you were the number 1 seed in Rival, and this is a nice little stepping stone that it's not too difficult of a matchup. But a great flick by Stites over Sprinkle, who had 0 boost, is actually going to put them back within 1.
Yeah, and Stites just taking it there, flicking with the back of his car. Sprinkle just not quite ready for that one, able to send it in, and the Knights gonna get a goal on the board here. And yeah, Stites definitely not gonna be too much of a slouch here, I would assume. One of the players from last season able to make it to the maybe the grand finals there in Challenger League. Couldn't quite win it though, as a nice little passing play coming down. Sprinkle trying to fire it in, goes off the post there. A big opportunity. This one's still floating, but going to be denied away there. That one was a great opportunity for Distortion, but not quite able to put it in. But really, Ventus, they are finding each other early.
Yeah, and it seems like they have not, lost any chemistry with each other. Maybe they've been playing together, just not on the same team at the start of the season, and so now it's just all meshing, and they haven't missed a beat because the passing plays have been on point. They've been finding each other, another pass option there, and we're just seeing a lot of good passing plays out of Distortion, but it looks like Knight's kind of catching the rotations out of Distortion. Maybe Flame pushed up a little bit too far, expecting Sprinkle to get a better touch on that ball. Riptide gonna put one in the back of the net to actually tie up the score 2-2.
Yeah, Riptide able to send that one in, and yeah, the Knights able to battle back here. It looked like at the very beginning, at least, that we could have been in for a long series, but now the Knights able to battle back here, get 2 goals, able to tie things up. This one now in the corner, D-Miss able to send it out the midfield. Flame trying to get to it, but not quite going to go on target. As Riptide able to send it down, and Riptide also assumedly the sub here on this team here as the lowest MMR player, so he's got some shoes to fill. As this one we popped out the midfield, Foam trying to get back, it's just gonna find its way in. Flame, it looks like he found a big 50 right there.
Yeah, great 50 against Stites, and reading it off the crossbar. And Riptide 0 boost, kind of has to play just the block touch, and Flame doing a great job of just taking it nice and slow, putting it around the last defender. And that's a second time where I think Flame has scored on Riptide as the last defender. So, maybe Flame's in Riptide's head so far in this series, but hopefully Riptide able to lock it down more on defense and stop those goals from happening.
And Flame definitely a very solid player, as well as this one dropped down midfield. Stites trying to get up to it, but not quite going to go as Foam pushing this one in the corner. This one going to pop up high. Stites trying to get up to it, going to stop it down. Riptide has an opportunity. The net is kind of open, going to throw it pretty wide there. Flame going to get to it there, trying to get some power on the shot as a big demo opens up some space. It might just be a big goal here. Another demo attempt. A fake comes through. Diva's coming back, but Stites able to get it out for a moment as it's sent back in here. As Foam trying to get to it, but that one we pushed right around him, trying to drop this one down midfield, and that one is going to be shot in, just toying with the last defender. Sprinkle puts it home.
Yeah, a great little 1-2-3 passing play between Sprinkle and D-Miss. And I mean, D-Miss very much being that glue, keeping this Distortion team together, and it might be what they were missing in the earlier games in this season, because they have looked so good in this game. I mean, besides there's a couple missed rotations on the defensive side of the ball, maybe being a little too aggressive, but overall Distortion, their passing plays have looked on point, and they've looked very threatening.
Yeah, they have looked threatening indeed here. A couple of great goals. Dimas is trying to fake it down, and actually that's going to get by 2 attackers there. Riptide, though, is just going to throw it away, allowing Flame to get back. This one up here, opportunity for Foam, trying to send it down, but Sprinkle is going to push that one off here as it's fired back. Dimas going to take it up high, a bump attempt, trying to come through. Dimas looking to take control. This one's sent back in, an opportunity to shoot on net. That one dropping down, but Dimas is all over that one. And a minute remaining now here for the Knights. Still find themselves down by 2, but there have been some opportunities, Ventus at least, where they have seemingly caught Distortion off guard.
Yeah, they definitely have, but for the most part, I feel like Distortion's kind of been in control this game. I think that Knights need to do a better job, especially of cutting down on those passing lane opportunities and kind of keeping somebody in the midfield presence, so that they're able to cut for the other defenders on the ball and to kind of diffuse some of that pressure that Distortion's able to generate from their passes, because right now it seems like Distortion's just been able to find each other and make all these passing plays, and Knights have not done much to dissuade them from doing so.
Yeah, I agree with you. That midfield control will be big if the Knights are able to get back to it and find some of that. As Distortion looking to hold on for the final 10 seconds. Foam, a big 50 up, going to try to snag that boost, going to find the big 50 hard off the backboard. Sights trying to get up to it, sending it back over to Foam, trying to drop it in. He's going to put it in, and with 2 seconds remaining, a little bit of life.
Yeah, it's a great dunk there by Foam, just absolutely decimating Flame on that 50, and then being in the right place there to just get the pass across the net, putting it over the last defender. And Yeah, there's only 2 seconds left. It's quite possible that they could do it, but looks like the ball is going to touch the ground and signal the end of game number 1. It looked like a fake kickoff strategy, maybe trying to get it into the back corner to get the possession to the Knights for a chance to score to equalize the game, but unfortunately just not going to be enough. But I mean, so far I'm kind of surprised by how well the Knights kind of held their own in this series, especially being in this like hodgepodge of different players. I mean, Riptide's the sub and Stites being the sub up. I wasn't really expecting much out of this Knights team going into this series, especially knowing that Distortion is the new and revamped as the one that we saw last season. So I'm very happy with the way Knights played.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone can really be too disappointed with what we saw from them in that game number 1. But as we look over to game number 2, they're going to have to find it. And I feel like Ventus, this is kind of that dangerous territory, if you will, for a team like this where, you kept it close in that game 1. Like you mentioned, it's a put together team here. They're definitely the underdogs here. They kept it close in game number 1, but game number 2 is kind of the sink or swim game. It's either, in my opinion, either going to be really close or it's going to be a blowout.
Yeah, that definitely is the case a lot of the time, and obviously we're hoping for the close series where Knights are able to get the edge and get a game back on this Distortion squad. But I mean, they'll definitely have to show out more offensive presence in this next game. A lot of the times they were trapped on their own end, just kind of playing defense, keeping Distortion at bay. So they're really going to have to be more aggressive and open up those offensive opportunities if they want to get back in the series.
See if they'll be able to do so as we're heading into game number 2 on Urban Central. Home looking to find a big 50 there, trying to find another. Riptide is up, going to be bumped off the ball, but that one touches through to the corner. Sprinkle looking to grab that one. It's floating off the backboard. A good touch from Flame. Able to keep control out in the corner as he sends it down. This one pushed high off the backboard. Riptide, this one is up at the opportunity, but not quite going to find the follow for the Knights. His Foam going to take it by 1. Going to find a demo on 2. Riptide floating. Gonna find a big pop up here, send it down. Not a lot of boost to work with, just gonna bake it out here, trying to push it to the middle. Here comes Stites with an opportunity, but not quite gonna go. Is this one gonna get around 2? Distortion members gonna get around 3. Is that one? Oh my goodness, it's gonna ring off the post. It was almost pinched down and in, as the opportunities right now, Ventus, are coming through for the Knights.
Yeah, and they've held the midfield a lot better so far in this game. They've been constantly picking up the loose balls, and as I say that, another loose ball gonna be an open net for Foam. Foam gonna put that one away and actually give the Knights a 1-0 lead in game number 2.
Oh, and Stites with a double demo on the back end, gonna clear the space open, and Foam puts it in, and all of a sudden these hodgepodge Knights here gonna take the lead, Ventus, and like you mentioned, they had the pressure there early on here in that midfield. As Distortion again a little bit awkward right there, as this one a pass over opportunity, but just can't quite connect. But regardless, still the offense on the Knights, you talked about it, you wanted to see it, and they've kind of given us it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, this Knights squad is either going to sink or swim from Stites, because Stites, being that Challenger League player, he's got to step up his game. He's got to be, able to contest these rival league players in speed and skill and technical ability on the ball. And if he starts to waver and he starts to slow down and kind of make more mistakes, then this Distortion squad is definitely going to capitalize on those, and he's definitely going to be the player to look out for the rest of the series.
Yeah, and we saw him stepped up big in that first goal right there. Able to clear out 2 defenders on the back end. And right now, that's the difference here in game number 1. Foam going to capitalize on it. This one sent up big. Flame gonna push it back to the corner. Foam gonna make the touch, trying to send it out. Sprinkle throwing this one towards the net. Stites gonna take control as a demo attempt coming through. Foam, he's gonna push it off to the side. Sprinkle gonna leave this one for Demas. A little bit awkward ball, and it looks like it's a Rule 1 in the corner with Stites in the corner there. But this, so a momentary advantage, and Riptide is actually gonna demo that one to get it out of the way. Maybe not wanting to take the 2v2, but I feel like if you got the Challenger playing the 2v2, if you're the Knights here, you try to take that one.
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of surprised by the decision from Knights. Maybe they're just more comfortable playing 3s, or I'm kind of surprised because they took out I believe Flame Intruder was the person in the role 1, and he's one of the better players, I'd say, on Distortion. I think him and Demas, as being those high sals, are, you know, kind of the backbone of this team. And so taking one of those two players out of the equation for your Challenger League sub up, I am very surprised at that decision.
Yeah, that was a little bit questionable, but I mean, maybe just wanting to hold here, knowing they've got the 1-0 lead, maybe feeling better, you know, in a low-scoring game when you got 3 people to try to hold, but that one's going to ring off the post, not quite going to go in. Stites, put it in reverse. He's able to get back to that one, but yeah, I guess that's the only thing I can really think of, is feeling that you can keep a much low-scoring affair in 3s when you have multiple defenders that can get back to net here. So Knights gonna look to hold here in the final 50 seconds. Stites taking over the top. This one locked up by Flame. Foam trying to drop in. Riptide gonna connect. He's bumped off a little bit, but gonna find a massive 50. This one heading down to the corner. Flame. Nice control by him, but couldn't quite find the foul. This one off the corner, over the top of Foam. Riptide maybe caught out. Is that one just gonna go in? It is. Sprinkle, and they're gonna catch him off guard. Aventus, only 30 seconds remaining, but caught out.
And it might be the karma from breaking the rule 1 there, as Riptide was the one that seems to get scored on as catching him out of rotation. Maybe he expected Flame to get a touch on that ball and maybe put it backboard or put it off target. And, you know, maybe a misflip there as well from him. But, you know, it's going to even up the scoring, and you got to think maybe that scoring would be different. Almost a goal a great save from Riptide. Maybe the scoring is different if it's a 2v2, and maybe Knights keep the lead or even go up 1 in a 2v2. But, you know, they obviously were comfortable with their decision. Air dribble comes out by Flame, gonna put that one away. But, I mean, definitely backfires for the Knights.
Yeah, it's backfiring, and now final seconds here of this one. Can we see a last-second goal? This one fired towards the net there, but gonna be parried away. Foam able to get back, pick up the savior medal, send it away, and send us into overtime here in game number 2. The Knights trying to battle back here and see if they can tie this series up. As this one sent down in the corner, looking for the redirect, it's going to go off. The follow-up attempt right here. Oh no, it's going to go off the post. That one was an open net for Foam, but he couldn't finish it off. Ventus, and that one, he is going to want that one back.
He was definitely upset at himself over that one. I mean, that was you might even say he missed it twice. He put one off the crossbar, or off the post, and Flame kind of expected that shot to be on, plays the shot on, and then misses, and leaves another open net opportunity for Foam, and Foam puts it off to the side again, hitting post. And, you know, you got to think that would give the Knights the game and tying up the game score, so definitely one that Foam would want to get back.
Yeah, he's going to be seeing that one if the Knights are unable to convert here. As this one popped up in the midfield, no one from the Knights trying to go. Is this one going to be very awkward? Not the touch Stites was looking for. Foam going to take control, no boost here, trying to flick it, but Flame is going to dive through. Riptide now has to get up to that one, able to send it a long ways. Flame retreating in the corner, but Riptide diving on him there. This one sent back in the midfield opportunity. It's going to be shot in. Stites is going to put it in, and he is going to tie it up right there and sends it in.
Yeah, and I was talking about Stites being the player to look out for, because he was going to be the reason that the Knights sink or swim, and they're definitely swimming with him right now, because a great shot there, great speed, able to beat the defender out in the midfield, kind of unassuming. You know, he was kind of just waiting to catch that ball in their own, like, third, because he wasn't expecting anybody to be there ready for a shot, and Stites was there, and he was going to drill the back of the net, and kind of makes up for that mistake from Foam where he wasn't able to get that open net. And, you know, obviously all's well that ends well. You know, not going to be harped too much for that one if you're Foam, because, you know, you still won the game in the end, and you know, nothing happens. They're still 1-1, but a lot scarier of a game than it would have been if you just put that one away.
Yeah, we'll give him a pass. We'll give him a pass on the long-time Nemesis veteran Foam right there. Great guy, all the way back from season 1. We'll give him a pass since they won the game. We'll give credit to Stites for putting that one in the bottom of the net and tying the series up. So now we're into game number 3 here, and things have just gotten, you know, Ventus, I feel like things have just gotten very, very interesting now with the Knights being able to take that last game.
Yeah, and if you're Distortion, you're kind of thinking, man, we thought we were going to be, you know, one of the best teams in Rival. We were last season, but now we're sitting here losing to players that, have not played together at all. Maybe their confidence is a little shaken. Maybe they aren't going to be, as aggressive because they're going to be timid from not being able to, take a sweep here. And maybe the mental starts to affect Distortion. They start making more mistakes because they shouldn't be losing to a makeshift team.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep our eyes on here, and it's definitely going to be creeping in the back of the minds of Distortion, without a doubt here, as we're keeping things around here. This one pushing down to the midfield, looking for an opportunity. Flame over the top, on top of the defender, putting it in.
Yeah, and it was a good play, just a good pop over foam and a beat on the other two. Just not expecting the air dribble touch. Maybe they were expecting a pass out to Demas, who was waiting in the midfield, but Flame electing to take it for himself, seeing the defense in an awkward spot. Two members on the backboard not wanting to commit toward that ball, and gonna end up opening the scoring for Distortion. Just as I was talking about their confidence may be wavering, Flame gonna help put the confidence back in the favor of Distortion and kind of quell their woes, some might say.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna be feeling a little bit better after that one, as they find themselves now in the lead here, trying to take this game number 3 here. Winner gonna put themselves on match point. A big divisional matchup for both these teams right here, as they're trying to make some moves within their division and trying to make it back here, as the Knights 3-2 in this one, and battling for that divisional lead. Vortex right now in control of that division, but like we talked about a little bit in the last match, Ventus, is you want to win this division and get that automatic lock-in to the playoffs, and these first set of divisional games are so crucial, as Distortion is going to be caught out and Riptide just sends it in.
An absolute interesting overcommit in the corner with Demas, as he kind of hit it out in the corner, maybe trying to have it be a pass, but Flame looking for bumps and Sprinkle being rotating all the way back to their back corner to leave so much space open. Riptide just gonna find the open net, in the missed rotation. It seems like a little bit early of a challenge for Demas. Maybe he should have waited in the midfield and waited for the play to develop rather than rushing into a challenge in the corner. But a great shot there, saved away by Foam. If you're Distortion, you definitely want that one back.
Yeah, that one, they want that one back, but they can have this one, as Demas is just going to send it in. Flame with some good speed up there. A dive comes through from Riptide, and Foam just can't quite get back to it. So Distortion, as we get to the halfway point here, going to retake their lead. And now Knights, once again, we mentioned seeming like the underdogs, in the series, now find themselves down once again in this game here, as Sprinkle looking to send that one in, actually going to pinch it high off the backboard as Foam sends it down. Sights looking to race to it. It's going to be pushed up to the sidewall. Riptide able to send it away here. Sprinkle looking to pop this one up high. Flame and Demas both thought about it. It's going to be Flame taking the attack, but Foam is just going to send it a long way. The net is almost open there. He just can't quite put it on target. Another opportunity for the Knights, and they've had quite a couple of these ones, Ventus, where Distortion have just been caught way off guard.
Yeah, and it's just been these overcommits, these double commits on the offensive side of the ball for Distortion that they just aren't, leaving one member back or leaving a member in the midfield. They're playing fully expecting to beat the defender, and whenever that doesn't happen, it spells doom for Distortion because they just leave their net completely open to any counterattacks.
And the Knights, they've found a couple and have been really close on a couple more there, as down to minute 20. This one blocked out. Riptide looking to send it out. Stites is harassing Flame. He's just dribbling him on the side there with no boost. Foam could be left on an island here. This one, a demo comes through with Foam, is able to get back to it. Maybe an opportunity for a counterattack here as they send it down. Ball in the midfield. Here comes Riptide pushing it towards the net. Not a lot of boost. The ball is popped up. Distortion just starved but sprinkled with no boost coming through. Foam, he can't connect though. That was a big opportunity once again. And Foam just not connecting. And another one, Ventus, that he is definitely going to want back because Distortion had no boost.
Yeah, definitely another one he'll want to get back. Is now there's a bunch of pressure coming out on the side of Distortion, and you just gotta maybe a goal coming in here, a great put away by Riptide, and you gotta be putting that one away, Foam. As a long-standing veteran, You know, you're expected to be able to stay calm and composed in these moments, and for him to miss not one,
Oh,
a crazy miss there might lead to an open net by Riptide. It looks like Stites is going to get back to that one, but you know, as a long-standing veteran, you kind of look for Foam to be that, you know, the solid rock foundation behind the team, and you know, when he's making those kind of mistakes and he's not on his game, you know, it's very hard for me to believe that the Knights are going to be able to take this series.
but this one, Riptide fired it towards the net. It's not going to go. A huge chance right there. And last-ditch effort here for the Knights in game number 3. Can they keep this ball up? Distortion just have to let it fall. This one in the corner, looking to ground it. And they will. Distortion is going to hold on. But it seemed like it was at the skin of their teeth right there. Ventus just surviving and, you know, holding on to that one goal win.
Yeah, definitely. And Knights still look very competitive and very much in this game. I mean, this is another one of those things, you know, we can't give Foam the pass on this game because the Knights didn't win it. But but you know, you just have a couple of these misplays where you're missing the open net, or not, you know, capitalizing enough on these opportunities, and they spell doom for your team. Because I mean, Knights had 2 open nets that they missed in that game alone, that if they hit those, they would actually be up 3-2 and up 2-1 in this series. So you really got to put those away, and really make sure you capitalize on those chances that you get, because they don't come plentiful, especially when you're playing the Distortion.
Yeah, no, and you know, like you mentioned, when you're the underdogs here, you know, playing with some subs here, not your normal lineup, you know, you gotta capitalize on every opportunity you get, because, like you mentioned, you're not gonna get a lot of them here. And now it's up to the Knights here on Forbidden Temple to see if they can make some chaos, see if they can force a game number 5 against their divisional rivals. But Distortion gonna be looking to slam the door here. This one out of the midfield, gonna be blocked out by Riptide. Flame gonna take some control here. Stites on the 50, ball gonna come across. Foam looking to take control, gonna go underneath that one, as that one almost worked out as a fake there, but Flame is gonna take control, trying to just fire it at the net. Foam gonna find a big demo as Riptide gonna leave it for Foam. He's gonna get it by 1. Foam looking to try to take it by 2. The ball goes high up off the corner. Opportunity. Stites is up, but he can't connect on that one. As Riptide and Foam both are going to go for this one. The net is kind of open. Is anyone going to be able to get back? Flame is just going to walk it in like he's walking the dog for a stroll in the park.
And that is absolutely devastating for the Knights. You know, it's one thing to have double commits happen, but it's another when the double commit directly leads to a goal for the opposition. And you know, maybe there's a miscommunication between Riptide and Foam, because Foam having no boost, trying to cut, make Riptide's life easier, but you know, Riptide obviously seeing that he can make a challenge. But and you know, it's that miscommunication that you see a lot when teams have not played much together, and it's maybe a goal coming up by Foam. It's gonna be crossbar.
What?
I'm gonna find the last touch. Foam gonna equalize and makes up for his, you know, lack of goals in game number 2.
I don't know how that one went in, Ventus. That has to be some Forbidden Temple chaos right there. As it flies across the field, bounces off the crossbar, a couple misses, and then Foam just jumps up, flips into it, sends it in, and my goodness, now we're tied at 1 apiece here. So the Knights not quite out of it yet, despite giving up that early double commit goal. And now again, gonna have to see if they can try to bring this one back here to force that game 5. This one off the backward. Oh my goodness, Flame trying to hit that double tap. Very close on that opportunity. Here comes Stites. A lot of boost to work with. Sending off the backward. Can't find the double, but the follow-up is coming through. Foam to Stites. They're gonna put it in, and that one is gonna give them the lead.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't even know what's happening right now. There's so much chaos going on. You know, I mean, Forbidden Temple is known for crazy things to happen, and chaos to ensue, and that's definitely happening. Foam kind of missing that shot. Luckily, Stites was able to be there in the play still, and put that one home. And you know, it's definitely a necessary goal for the Knights, especially to take the lead and give them some confidence to potentially force a game number 5.
I mean, the confidence has got to be there now, as they have the lead and they really just have to hold on. Maybe they can find one more to add to it, but you know, the underdogs putting the pressure on here in this one. It's the ball rolling in the corner here. Going to be shot towards the net. Flame is going to have to make the save. He does, able to send it off to the side. This one again popped up. Sprinkle going to send it off to the side there. Riptide Gonna look for a little bit of a block, a little bit of a double commit comes through. Distortion, awkward there. Stites is gonna get it through. Can he get it by the last one? He does. Where's the follow? No one from Knights quite ready for that one. I mean, that was a great play there by Stites, but no one Ventus was able to help him on the back end.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, in the defense of the Knights, you can't. What is going on? You can't really expect a lot of these plays to be happening right now. It seems both of these teams kind of succumbing to the nerves right now. A lot of misses and a lot of missed touches coming out, double commits all over the place. And you know, if you're on the side of Knights, it's really hard to read that. So especially when they're up in the game, I'd opt to just being safe and opt to just let the play, transpire instead of trying to force being aggressive and try to score another one. Just hold the lead that you have.
Oh, is this one coming down the midfield? Riptide gonna get back to it just in time, but dangerous balls on both sides. The chaos of Forbidden Temple right here being seen and felt by everyone on the pitch. As this one gonna be pushed up high now, a minute 45. The Knights trying to send us to a fifth and final game. As this one pushed up high again, Foam gonna find the block, the ball floating out in the midfield. Another dangerous ball. Flame is gonna jump, beat it over the top of one. It's just Foam back there. Gonna make a touch though. Able to find the clear, putting Distortion on the back, but Sprinkle just gonna take it back to his corner there. Gonna secure the boost. Distortion, a lot of it to work with. The Sprinkle in the midfield. That one being pushed by a defender. Follow-up attempt is gonna go through. Sprinkle slides it under the defense, and they are gonna tie things up.
Yeah, that's a great little 1-2 there. Flame just recognizing Sprinkle does not have any boost left, and opting to just take it off of his car, put it off the corner to beat one of the defenders, and put it right back in the way of Sprinkle. So he doesn't have to go too far out of the way, and has the boost to operate and able to shoot. And Sprinkle gonna put a great shot on net and equalizing the game. And that's not a great sign for Knights, as you do not want Distortion to get rolling and get comfortable.
Yeah, especially, like you mentioned, being the underdogs, you got to make the most of your opportunities. You got to be able and ready to send it to game 5. Oh my goodness, Riptide was there looking for that double. Here comes Stites off the backward. Flame is going to send it down. A challenge again from Foam. That one, the double tap so close to sending that goal in to give him the lead of this one. Flow down the midfield. Flame dropping a good patience by Stites, but he gives it up right. The Sprinkle, and Riptide is caught out on defense again. Sprinkle just sends it a long way, and Distortion takes the lead.
Man, another just overcommit from Riptide, expecting a better play or a better touch to come out from Stites. But Stites kind of getting a mistouch there. Sprinkle able to capitalize it and get a lot of power generated that is just unexpected to Riptide, and it's going to find the back of the net. And that's absolutely disastrous once again for the side of Knights, because you cannot be letting goals up, especially to give the lead to the other team with less than 30 seconds left. Is a shot saved by Sprinkle on the Knights net is gonna actually keep Distortion only at 1 goal, as they were almost able to score and go up 4-2.
Yeah, this one a dive coming through. Final 10 seconds here for the Knights. They're gonna have to pull some sort of miracle. The ball off the backboard. Foam can't get it. It's gonna ring off the post though. That one is looking like the dagger. As this one into the corner, it's gonna touch the ground, and somehow, some way, Ventus Distortion are gonna find their way to a win.
Yeah, it was. I'm gonna say this. It was not a pretty win for Distortion. You're going up against a Knight squad who is having a sub and a challengers, play in the rival league. You're double committing a lot over the place. It was not a very clean game. They do get the series win, but it makes me wonder if Knights, with their full roster, would be able to take the series off Distortion. And based off the way that Distortion played, I think that might be the case. And so even though Distortion do get a much needed win, it isn't very confidence inducing in the side of, as a spectator watching, if you're thinking that Distortion might be, turning their season around. You do not want to see them scraping out a win against a team that is just a thrown together, rival team with a challenger player. That's not what you want to see. You want Distortion to come out, be confident, show that they be winning 3-0 or 3-1 or 4-1 and being very in control of the series, and it did not look that way. So I give props to Knights because they were able to force Distortion to look that way, but also Distortion needs to clean it up.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with you completely there, Ventus. You know, it just didn't seem like they were on point today, and yeah, like you mentioned, I'm not too convinced about the Distortion comeback quite yet, but obviously, hey, a division win is a division win, so I'm sure they're glad to take that one over the Knights and bring things back a little bit because the season is still young. You still have some more divisional match or one more divisional match next week before we head into the non-conference. So able to get a solid win here. If they can scrape together another one on Monday, there, they can put themselves back in a good spot. I mean, 3-4, definitely doable right there. So we'll give them credit there on taking the win over the Knights. 3-1 victory for them. So congratulations on that one. But that is just about to do it for us here, as we're going to be heading shortly to the next matchup here. We are going to have Assassins taking on the Bishops here. Ventus, it's going to be another interesting ones. The Assassins, they got Squirrel, and I heard Zanzibar is going to be on the pitch there for the Assassins. There are no courses tonight, so things are going to be interesting down there in the Challenger League. I don't know if have any ideas about what might happen in that one.
I mean, I also heard that Bishops are going to have a sub or two. I'm not exactly sure. I heard, there is a chance Speed Demon might be making an appearance if a player from the Bishops can't make, which they were iffy about whether they could or not. So, might be a crazy matchup with some subs thrown in, but should be a good one nonetheless.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that one. That one will be coming up in just a few minutes, so make sure you guys stick around. Get some drink, grab some food. I'll be back in a little bit. Gallium and Dronus will be up in the booth here, giving you guys some Challenger League action, so make sure you guys stick around, and we'll see you guys in a few.